Hi, this is Design Start, and today we are going to talk about autolayout. This video will cover the basics of autolayout, and in another video we will cover slightly advanced features of autolayout and how to use it on the maximum potential. So what is autolayout? Autolayout is a very powerful feature of Figma which simplifies a lot of your work, and this is done due to the fact that basically you have some constraints, some features that basically automated. And in this case, you are able to do a lot of things, and this allows you to set up things and then do not care about them, since the frame will adapt to your design automatically. Let's start. We'll start from text. For instance, let's write a button, and then let's create an auto layout from this thing. So to create auto layout, we can click this right button and then add auto layout, or Shift A, and then the auto layout is created. So what is auto layout? It's basically a frame, similar to how the regular frame works, but it has some extra features in this sidebar, which you can see here. So what do we have here? First of all is a layout of the elements inside the auto layout. We will cover this in a couple of minutes. Then the distance between these objects. Again, we will cover this in a couple of minutes. Then the position of the objects inside the frame. The padding horizontal, padding vertical. This is, we'll start from this one. So first of all, as this is a frame on the background, let's add the color. For instance, white. And now let's change the paddings, this and this. So you can see that everything is changed, and basically your text here inside this frame will have these paddings that we set up here, no matter what. So if, for instance, I want to change this text to button up, the frame will adapt to the text that you've written. And this is very cool because you basically don't care about the content here. The frame will adapt to this content. You can change these things also manually directly from the frame, not inside this panel. For instance, you can change this, you can change this, and you also can change paddings and vertical and horizontal clicking here. In this case, you will be able to set up a particular padding, for instance, on the left, on the right, etc. Let's imagine that we have a button with, for instance, with an icon. I will draw a shape. Let's do it like a circle and add it here. Now, what do we see? Here we have a frame with two objects. This is a circle and text. And now we get back to from what we started. So here, auto layout has horizontal distribution of the elements inside. And if we change it to vertical, then all the objects will be laid vertically. So for instance, if I add more shapes, all the shapes will be added vertically. And then if I select the frame and change it to horizontal distribution, everything will be distributed horizontally. And go back. Now, another thing is the distance between objects, spacing between items. Basically, it allows you to control what will be the distance between these objects. And again, now it's 10. Let's do it 16. You see the distance is bigger. Or we can reduce that and see the distance is smaller. Again, if we, for instance, want to increase the size of one object, the distance between this object and next object in line will be the same. This is very cool because, again, you can add any other objects, and the distance between all objects inside this frame will be the same. Now, the position of the object. So here you can see that all the objects are aligned top left. So you can see that this circle is aligned to the frame basically with paddings. So here it has distance 20. Here it has distance 12. And basically this object also has the same distances. The same with the text. we can change that by aligning to the center, for instance. And you can see that this object now aligned to the center, to the horizontal, basically line in the middle. And all other objects that you will add, no matter what their size will be, everything will be aligned to the center. Again, if we talk about, for instance, alignment to the bottom, it will be the same as with the case with the top. If we align to the center, it will be interesting, because then if we change the distance here, it will be always centered. And in case if we, for instance, align to the left, it will be stick to the left. Similarly to how constraints work with a normal frame, in the same way these settings work with the auto layout. Another thing that you need to know about auto layout, you can find it here. So here we have advanced layout settings, and here we have spacing mode, strokes, canvas, text baseline alignment. So basically this one, the last one, you can see from the animation what it does. It allows you to align different baselines. It's not very wide used, but you still can understand that generally. The most used is the first one, which is like spacing mode, inspect, and space in between. Again, it's shown on the animation how it works, but basically what pack does, it, no matter what is the length, right, what is the width of this frame, it will use the same distance as spaced here between objects. So if I add another one, another one, they will grow until they reach the width of this frame. And then like they will go on. You may ask why we are not wrapping this object, and the reason for that is that the width of this object is fixed because we increase it manually, and to make it look again as it was before, we need to select hug contents, and this basically will hug the content of this element, and then if we add again, it again will grow. But if, for instance, we decide to change the width of this object again, you can see that it's again moved to fixed, unless we change it again to hug contents. So let's remove everything, go back, and talk about packed. So here we have these settings, and if we select space between, all objects inside this frame will be distributed evenly along the width of this object. And basically this one moves to auto, and you can see that all the distances between all the objects here are the same. Let's get back to packed. This one is basically just settings for what should we include in the size. It's like very small things, basically should we include strokes or not. And this one is also interesting because basically it shows you what should be on top of what. So for instance, in case as layers, this ellipse basically is the last one in this list. And if, for instance, I want to make a negative spacing, which is possible, it will be on top of all the others because it's the last one in the row. If we change that, if we change it to first on top, then you can see it's flipped. This is everything that I wanted to cover in the basics of auto layouts, and more advanced features and advanced use cases I will cover in the next videos.